Hello and welcome back to my video blog. I'm State Representative Ritch Workman, representing the fine folks of District 30 in Brevard County. Last week in Tallahassee was a pretty busy one. House Bill 1405, that's my pension reform bill, did pass the full Appropriations Committee on its way to the floor for a full House passage. Let's talk about the three things that bill does. It was unchanged in the Appropriations Committee. It still requires a 3% contribution by all employees. It still eliminates the DROP program effective July 1st, 2011. And lastly, it extends the age and years in service for all employees. Special risk, that's our firefighters and police. They go 30 years in service or 60, whichever comes first, and all others are 35 years in service or age 65, whichever comes first. Still interested in saving the DROP program in some way. Obviously, that would take a major reform package to save it. DROP, as it sits today, is way too abused and costly to the citizens. By removing it, the state saves about $150 million. So I would have to reform DROP to make sure we keep that same savings. I have some plans for that. But whether it's savable or not is yet to be seen as we continue to work this bill through the full House and then on to the conference. If we were to save DROP, though, just to be clear, it could not be eligible for elected officials or high-wage employees. It could not. You could not double dip, in other words, go back into the system and retain your years in service, the interest rate would have to be dropped or eliminated. So there's a few things we can do, and hopefully once we get some studies back, we'll know if we can save DROP or not. But currently, and let me be clear, currently those three things I mentioned are the three things that my bill does. Also, last week we tabled a bill of mine called House Bill 89. This is a very interesting bill, and most people are not talking about this bill, but I want to tell you what I've been doing. I've been working on this bill now for about 3 years, and House Bill 89 takes away what I believe is the largest, or one of the largest, unfunded mandates that the state does to its local municipalities, both cities and counties. And I've been challenged to do away with unfunded mandates on our local municipalities, and this one is not appreciated by Democrats, and I'm having a hard time getting a lot of my Republicans on board too, because what it does is it takes monies away from the newspapers. Because since the beginning of time, way back when newspapers were the single source of news, the states have all mandated that public notices be published in the newspaper. You've seen them. Long listings of tax certificates, long listings of upcoming county commission meetings or zoning map changes, all published, and they cost on about $50 million to taxpayers a year. Well, I think the time of the newspapers leading the charge for public notices have come and gone. I think it's much more effective to put these on the internet. My bill does not mandate either. My bill simply says a municipality can still use a newspaper if that's the most effective way, or they can put them on their local website. They're forced to put them on a front page link on their website. A lot of parameters on making sure it's public. And also for our senior citizens and those that don't have internet access, the municipality must provide free internet access either at a library or at the town hall. And they also must allow the citizen to call and have it mailed to them on a regular basis. So I'm trying to reach out, trying to get that done, but unfortunately $50 million into the pockets of the private newspapers causes for a lot of lobbying. And a lot of folks just don't want to vote with me on this bill, but I think we'll see it pass the first committee this week. And let's just be principled about this. The reason that this is an unfunded mandate that needs to go is this is private dollars being given in the form of corporate welfare to our newspapers. And worse than that, in order for you to see the public notices that are important, you have to pay for a private product. This is, I don't see a whole lot of disconnect from Obamacare and having to buy a private insurance product, and people are pretty upset about that. So I want to see the chain broken, and no longer are these taxpayer dollars going to be given to newspapers as a free subsidy, if you will, when there are other more effective means to do our public notices. So look for HB 89. We'll be up again this week. Hopefully we'll get that to the floor this year, and if nothing else, we'll bring the newspapers to the table and have some common sense reform and some savings of taxpayer dollars as a result of that legislation. Lastly, a few of my tax incentive programs are hitting the floor of the House this week. I believe that one of the biggest challenges we have this year is to create an atmosphere that it will attract jobs. And so I have an research and development tax credit, an aerospace jobs tax credit, all going to the floor of the House this year, this week. Hopefully we'll see those pass out and on to the Senate. and we'll attract some jobs here, especially for the Space Coast. They're really hurting with the shuttle being retired soon. So again, my name is Ritch Workman. You can visit me at richworkman.com. You can email me at rich@richworkman.com. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter, and you can always blog with me. That's myfloridavoice.com. Thanks again for watching. Look forward to seeing you next week. Bye-bye.